Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Gibbs Spotlight. My name is Haley Sandell, and I am a visual communications intern here at the Gibbs College of Architecture. Today, I'm talking with Kevin Mink. He's a graduate student pursuing his master's in landscape architecture. Hey Kevin, how's it going?
Hey, Haley, I am good. How are you doing?
Not too bad. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from and your life leading up to Gibbs?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am probably not the typical OU student because I actually grew up in Northeast Pennsylvania. Spent, all my childhood years there. Um, did my undergraduate career partially at Drexel University in Philadelphia. Um, Transferred to Vanderbilt when I was unhappy with my engineering major.
Aw,
Uh, yeah, math was like not my thing, so I got I got into the biology realm. So that took me to Vanderbilt in Nashville. Um, I finished my undergrad in 2014, and then I spent the next 4 years in Atlanta working in a forest restoration program, which was awesome. Really, really loved my time there.
that's really
Uh,
cool.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was kind of a good. It felt nice to like use my major right after I graduated because I had so many friends who were not applying what they learned in school. Um,
Yeah.
and then my wife, who at the time was just my fiance, moved to Oklahoma City to start her medical residency at OU. And obviously, I was not going to not move with her because she was going to be here for 4 years. So that pretty much brings me to like the present moment here in Oklahoma.
Nice. That's quite the twisty track to end up here.
Yeah, I never really had a plan, honestly. I think in high school I thought I was gonna go to uh one of the military academies, to be honest, and then that
Oh,
didn't happen, and so I was like kind of floundering around for a while, but uh I kind of found my path haphazardly, and it's been great. I've loved what I do now, so
yeah.
no
Wow.
complaints.
Well, good for you. You ended up where you belong.
I like to think so.
Yeah. So, after going to Vanderbilt and Pennsylvania and Drexel, um why did you decide that you wanted to come to OU?
Well, I toyed with graduate school most of the time I was in Atlanta working in that forest restoration program because, I felt a little out of my depth.
Gotcha.
It was like a great learning experience for me. But there were some points where I was like, man, I could probably stand to expand my knowledge level. Um, and because I was doing a little bit of, I don't know that I'd necessarily call it design work, but I was doing some like uh, native tree plantings in forested spaces with like, you know, walking trails and whatever. So I felt like I was doing a little bit more design than I really knew how to do.
Yeah.
Um, so I was kind of thinking about landscape architecture already prior to moving here, and it just was like kind of the perfect time, because we knew we'd be here for 4 years, and it was a great program and a great place. So I hadn't thought about it before moving here, and then it just kind of the time felt right. So
Nice. Well, good for you. It's kind of cool how those things work out sometimes.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can plan all you want, but it's always good to be able to just kind of ride the wave and take things as they come.
Yeah. You sometimes you can put things up to chance and it'll work out.
Definitely.
So, with COVID and stuff going on, it's kind of a odd question, but what projects are you working on currently?
Yeah, it certainly has turned things upside down. Um, you know, typically my day job is working at the Oklahoma County Conservation District, which is like a county USDA office.
Gotcha.
Um, but since COVID happened, I've pretty much been at home and trying to think of ways to bring uh like conservation education to people when I can't do workshops and the
Yeah.
like. Because that's kind of my thing is I tend to do educational workshops on pollinator gardens and just good eco-friendly practices.
Yeah.
um and since COVID, I'm like, how do I do that? So tried to start this yard certification program,
Oh, cool.
because I found myself, since I was at home a lot, doing tons in my yard. And I was like, I bet other people are doing this. So, like, we should reward them somehow. And I was like, that's something I can do from home because, like, I can post videos and they can post videos. And so that's been like my COVID brainchild and summer project is this
Gotcha.
yard program.
That's a really good idea. I I mean, both myself and a bunch of my friends, like we've all started planting and stuff, and we're the types of people who have never previously planted anything. So I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Well, the hope was it would like, kind of spur people to do more, or if they weren't doing something to kind of like jump on the bandwagon, because I feel like there's an interest in that sort of thing, and that like the eco-friendly or conservation friendly yard, where people are planting native plants and not using pesticides, which is kind of like our big thing is, that's like huge if you eliminate pesticides from your yard.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and like you were talking about like pollinator flowers and plants and stuff. That's not something that a lot of people think of. So, I think that's really valuable information too.
Oh, definitely. Well, it's funny because, like Oklahoma is on the central monarch migration path. So it's really an interesting eco region because almost all of the monarchs that disperse throughout the US funnel through Oklahoma at some point. So talking about planting for pollinators, like incorporating milkweed into your yard, even if that's the only thing you do, is like increasing the availability of monarch habitat, which is great because that has declined like, I don't know, 80 or 90% in the past decade. So bringing that message to people, I think, is massively important.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's never a bad thing to have more butterflies in your backyard. Oh no. How awful.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, there's this interesting trend uh that like the landscape industry was tending towards like more, I guess, resilient plants that like wouldn't get attacked by insects and, didn't need a lot of attention or whatever. So we ended up with this palette of evergreen non-native things super
Yeah.
common in the landscape industry. But it's like, oh, plant this and you'll bring butterflies. And usually you get people's attention.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so what is a project that you've created or worked on at GCA that you're most proud of?
um, so for me, it was definitely my final poster the first semester I was here, because I, with a background in biology, I have never really gotten into any sort of the graphic arts. Like I was still drawing stick figures,
Yeah.
and not very well. um, so I remember looking at the end of the semester at my poster and then pulling out the like really terrible sketches I did on the first day of studio,
Aw.
and was like, holy cow, like I really, really learned a lot. It was like, and I felt like I had learned so much. So that was just kind of like a profound moment where I was like, holy cow, I came from doing nothing and this great I mean, I thank Brett and Sarah, who were, the two professors I had my first semester that really like instilled this in me. So it was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a really cool thing about I I don't wanna say architecture is visual arts, but, like, having that visual comparison to see how far you've come with that, it's so satisfying.
Yeah, yeah, and there's something about just like the realization that you have the power to represent what you want to represent, um, which is something I feel like I struggled with so much early on. Is it's just like, well, man, like there's almost like too much to know what I want to draw or
Yeah.
show. So it was like nice to have that guidance and hone those skills so that I could like really kind of like show my intention behind something.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when you have all the possibilities, what possibility do you choose? Where do you go?
Yeah, yeah. Definitely a struggle, I think, in this profession is it's just like, man, you could go so many directions. How do you just pick one?
Yeah. So, what is your favorite thing so far about Gibbs?
Um, well, it's kind of an awkward time to answer that question,
Yeah.
given that we ended with online learning and, I'm at least mentally preparing myself for online learning, for the fall.
Yeah, that's
But
kinda
it,
how it looks.
yeah, which, I think, well, let me answer the one question first. And then
Yeah, yeah.
my favorite thing was just the sense of community, honestly. Like, I loved having time in the studio with my classmates to, we're all working on a project, and it was a great place to get feedback and discuss ideas. It's really a collaborative sense in the school. And I think the computer lab is like one of the best places to illustrate that because, anybody can be down in the computer lab and having an issue with this or that program or the printers. And there's just kind of like this somebody will help you. If you're having a problem, somebody out there will help you out because I don't know. We've all been in that situation where you're like stuck for much too long and you just need somebody to like give you a hand.
Yeah.
Um, so I really enjoyed that, kind of missed that at the tail end of the spring semester.
Yeah, definitely. It it was a weird transition going from classes in person to spring break and then not coming back after spring break. Who would have thunk?
Yeah, yeah, totally. And it was just, I really appreciate and have to commend the professors who, you know, tried to retain some semblance of a class structure.
Yeah,
Uh, because I thought that was really important and helpful despite the challenges.
definitely. Yeah, it was really impressive to see how everybody adapted to their current situation, whether that be the professors adapting to Zoom and uh kind of having to build a digital studio, or students also adapting to Zoom and figuring out, well, how am I going to record this video that has to be professionally done in my apartment? Like it it was such a wild effort.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And this is maybe a weird thing to say, but I almost wish that every school had taken a worst case scenario approach, and planned for online learning, right? Like we couldn't
Yeah.
be in person because I think that has the potential to drive a lot of innovative teaching efforts.
Yeah.
Um, and part of me feels like there was a missed opportunity over the summer. And I will also say that I am not directing blame at OU or anybody. I think this was like a collective thing that happened where we just kind of were like hoping it would get better and like it never did. And now we're like, oh, school's here. Like,
What do I do
uh,
now?
yeah, so I kind of wish that had been the effort because I think some cool things could have been developed across the board over the summer, but what can you do?
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. It's it's been an interesting time. And we can all make the best of it. We can just keep making bread and getting better at gardening.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you hope, right? It's a great time to advocate for, you know, community resiliency across the board, connecting with your neighbors and, doing the right thing on the home front because it's like that's what everybody's got at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, when and why did you first become interested in uh landscape architecture?
Um, yeah, so this I guess I'm gonna draw back to uh my time in, well, I don't know. It's like when you look back, it almost all seems to just fit together. Like this, it feels like such a natural progression of
Yeah.
my interests over time. Um, because I really have this fascination with the integration of the human built and the natural environment that it just was like, oh, this is the direction I should be going in because like I want to be bringing nature to people on the home front. I want to be integrating ecosystems into our cities so that it's, I don't know, we're providing something valuable and doing something good other than pumping fertilizers and pesticides into our waterways and growing monocultures of turf grass. It's like it's just so boring and it's been done in just about every suburb in America. So it's like, let's shake it up.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I feel like there's definitely been a shift towards more ecologically friendly ways of life. So, I think you chose the right career path.
Oh, definitely. And I think what is so great about the program at Gibbs is like I probably will not walk away from my time at Gibbs being a master at like any one thing. Like I won't be a master of Photoshop or hand graphics or draft, but like I will be well rounded enough in, I'll be a dangerous, right? I'm a dangerous candidate because I can do a little bit of everything and I can hone those skills. So I'm
Yeah,
just grateful to be exposed to all of that.
I think it's good to be a jack of all trades.
I agree. It seems like something you need to function, in this weird world.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what advice would you give to prospective students of the program?
Um, I mean, my advice is kind of to just jump right in. That's what I did. I mean, I have to say I was a little intimidated by like some of the things it looked like I was going to be doing, especially when I knew I was going to be putting my work up in front of the school. That's like kind of an intimidating thing when you're pinning your work up in front of everybody.
Yeah,
But it's such a supportive community here, and everybody really just wants to help you advance and hone your skills. That even if you ended up not uh, not in your field of study that you did here, you'll walk out with a set of skills that is just invaluable in, today's, I don't know, what do you want to say, today's working environment. It's so
yeah,
nice to have a wide variety of skills that you can apply.
yeah, definitely. And I mean, I'm a architecture minor, and even from just taking like 2 or 3 classes, it's so easy to see how much like the professors and the people around you want you to succeed, which is cool.
Yeah, yeah, it seems like there's a cohesive drive, at Gibbs. Everybody's there to support and help you and um, point you in the right direction, which is like all you can really hope for.
Definitely. Well, I think that is all that I have for you today. Uh, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about?
Well, since we touched on it briefly, I will make a plug for my yard certification program. It's
Yeah,
called the Yard by Yard Community Resiliency Project. Um, at the moment, we're launched in Oklahoma and Tulsa County, but you know, Cleveland County's coming soon. Um, Check out our website, okconservation.org/yard by yard. You can learn all about it, our checklist of eco-friendly practices, see some videos that have been posted, and apply. If your yard is available, apply for the program. We'd love to certify you and recognize your conservation work.
yeah, that's awesome. I have it pulled up right now. It's an excellent resource. I really, really like this. And honestly, I'm probably going to use this later for my little garden.
Yeah, yeah, do it. And the I think the thing that is important about this program is we are out to help people. So people who see this and are like, "Oh, I want to do that, but I'm not," or like I don't meet it. It's like reach out to us. We will come and help you achieve the certification. It's supposed to be a learning experience for everyone.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. It's a rare treat to, talk to somebody other than my dog.
Yeah, definitely. Breaking out of the quarantine bubble, podcast by podcast.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Thanks again for listening to the Gibbs Spotlight. Tune in next time to hear more stories from the Gibbs College of Architecture.